Hi everyone, this particular video is going to be a non-nonsensical discussion with respect to GS paper number 4 political ethics and for GS paper number 2 polity. Now, first of all, let me tell you some basic things that have happened, then you will be able to better connect with this particular topic. So recently, one of an MP has raised a complaint against another MP, Mahua Moitra, that she has taken some money to ask a particular type of questions in parliament which will help a particular business group. And all these particular matters, first of all, complaint has been made to speaker and speaker has referred this particular matter to ethics committee of Lok Sabha. So we are going to discuss that what is this ethics committee, what is the mandate of this ethics committee, and vis-a-vis political ethics GS paper number 4 also we are going to investigate this particular matter. Now first of all guys, when we talk about ethics committee is created so that it can scrutinize that MPs or members of parliament are not doing something which is immoral, which is unethical, or they are not getting involved in misconduct. Now first of all a question comes that why there is a need of a dedicated committee. So guys, understand this particular thing that we have article number 105 in the Constitution of India. And this article number 105 provides a certain parliamentary privileges to MPs. It provides immunities and privileges as an MP in an individual capacity as well as in collective capacity. And when you have certain privileges, there is a possibility that these privileges can be abused, can be misused, or can be used so that they can get a personal gratification, but that should not happen. So therefore ethics committee's role become important. Now when we talk about ethics committee guys, understand this particular thing. Ethics committee is neither a constitutional body nor it was there from the start, from the inception of the constitution. Ethics committee is a recent development. It was created after 1996. So what happened in 1996? There was a presiding officers conference that was held, and this presiding officers conference of 1996 recommended establishing the ethics committee, and Rajya Sabha established this particular committee in 1997. But what happened in the case of Lok Sabha? There was a study group of House of Committee of Privileges that was created, and this study group it saw that what is the functioning of mechanisms in the different countries. It studied the system going on in Australia, UK, US, and then it recommended that India Lok Sabha also need to have an ethics committee. And finally ethics committee in case of Lok Sabha was established in 2000 as an ad hoc committee. Then in 2015 it was made as a permanent committee. Now when we talk about ethics committee guys, what are its functioning and how the process goes on, let me explain you this particular thing. So basically guys, what happened, MP made a complaint to speaker. Speaker referred this particular issue to ethics committee. Now ethics committee will investigate the matter. Ethics committee is going to question the MP and they will prepare their detailed report. And that particular report will be given to the speaker. Now speaker will place that particular report in the front of house, that is in front of Lok Sabha, and then Lok Sabha is going to decide that what punishment is to be given, and in the and there is a possibility that even the MP can be expelled from the house. Guys, certain things you need to understand, that as the matter is referred to ethics committee, understand this particular thing. No matter can be referred to ethics committee which is sub judice, on which proceedings is going on in the court, or matters cannot be referred to ethics committee if on the basis of just the media reporting. So in these two cases matters cannot be referred to ethics committee. Moreover guys, often we see this particular thing that there are two committees whose works and functions usually overlap. There is ethics committee and second is the privileges committee. Now privileges committee is dedicatedly there to ensure that there is no abuse of parliamentary privileges. Now understand, such kind of matters where some money has been taken, some corruption has happened, bribe has happened, it can be referred to both ethics committee as well as privileges committee. But usually what happens is some serious allegations, some serious charges if they are there, they are usually referred to privileges committee. Is it clear or not? In this particular case, speaker has referred to ethics committee and not the privileges committee. Now, as we are discussing this particular case, this is not the first time in history that such kind of a thing has happened. In past also, similar issues have happened. For example, guys, in the history when we see, there are two specific instances. For example, one is the 1951 HG Mudgal scam. So HG Mudgal was an MP in the provisional Lok Sabha in 1951, and there were certain allegations that was made against HG Mudgal that he has accepted bribe from the Bullions Association, and he is asking certain questions on the behalf of Bullions Association. Now guys, this is a good example you can quote in your ethics paper. What happened? Though Mr. HG Mudgal belonged to Congress party, but against the expulsion of HG Mudgal, Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru himself raised the resolution. So we saw that they risen over the party lines. And what was provided by Jawaharlal Nehru? We'll see here. I will read it. So Jawaharlal Nehru said that if the house does not, if the house does not expresses its will in such matters in clear, unambiguous and forceful terms, then doubts may very well arise in public's mind as to whether the house is very definite about such matters or not. Jawaharlal Nehru provided this particular thing, that if that person, when a person is in the capacity of a legislator, it is to be ensured that they have an unblemished track record, and even if there is a little spot of a blemish on their character, they should not continue in that office. Jawaharlal Nehru provided this particular thing, that legislators, they have to follow even more higher standards of ethicality and morality. So he was expelled. Basically, actually, what happened? Motion for his expulsion was raised, but before that motion could have passed, he himself resigned from the house. And then the second instance that comes is 2005 cash for query scam. In this 2005 cash for query scam, 11 MPs were expelled because they have taken money to ask favorable questions in the parliament. Guys, in this particular capacity, there is also one more thing that I would like to point out here, guys. What is the Supreme Court's view on this particular development? Can MPs ask questions by taking money, and if they have asked the questions, can they be punished? Yes or no? So basically, guys, here we have one of a judgment of Supreme Court, that is judgment of Supreme Court in Jharkhand Mukti Morcha case 1998. And in this particular judgment, what Supreme Court ruled? So I will read it. Supreme Court's ruled that those who were successful in tabling questions in Parliament after receiving a consideration cannot be prosecuted because of the immunity granted by Article 105. Article 105 of the Constitution from any proceedings in court in respect to anything said or vote given in Parliament. This is the Supreme Court's view. So we need to see that what will happen in this particular case. Now, guys, now as this particular issue has happened, you need to understand a few things also, that when we talk about ethical or unethical, what is ethical, what is unethical. So in this particular matter, it is also on ethics committee that they can define what is allowed, what is not allowed, what is unethical conduct. It has not been defined in the rules of ethics committee, it has not been defined into the procedures of ethics committee. It is entirely on the committee to conclude that whether particular thing is ethical or unethical. Now, guys, as we are talking about this entire development, though law will take its own course, but you need to understand that whether it is moral or not moral. But before going on in this particular direction, I would like to discuss one basic thing first. Guys, when we talk about, see this particular thing, when we talk about law versus ethics, there is a difference between law and ethics. When we talk about law, law establish a set of do's and don'ts. Law establishes a set of do's and don'ts, and it is based on minimalist standards. It is based on minimalist standards. What do I mean by this minimalist standard? Ethics imposes on you bare minimum. Ethic imposes you a bare minimum. For example, at least you should not jump a red light. At least you should not murder a person. At least you should Wear a helmet when you are riding a motorbike. Law will always impose on you the bare minimum that you should do. You want to do more better than that, you are free. But bare minimum, you should do this, or bare minimum, you should not do this. Okay, so law always provides the minimal standards. Okay, but when we talk about ethics, ethics is actually based on the maximal standards. Ethics are based on maximal standards. It will not impose on you bare minimum. Rather, ethics will expect from you ideal, optimum. Even Immanuel Kant says this particular thing, that there is a difference between law and ethics. Immanuel Kant says that in law, you are guilty if you have broken a law. But in ethics, you are guilty even if you have thought to break a law. So has ethics is based on maximal standards. Ethic imposes on the people the highest standard that they should follow. Okay, so this is something. Now, guys, when we talk about political ethics, understand this particular thing. In this particular direction, guys, there are different viewpoints that we get. So, first of all, when we talk about the politics and ethics, we have a realist viewpoint. And when we have realist viewpoint, there, one very popular viewpoint you might have heard, that is the Machiavellian viewpoint. Now, guys, when we talk about Machiavellian viewpoint, so Machiavelli, Italian thinker, he provided this particular thing, that there is no room for ethics in politics. There is no room for ethics in politics. He provided this thing, that ethical principles that govern citizens' behavior should not bind politicians. Machiavelli provided this particular thing, that politics has only one objective, that is to consolidate the power. And for consolidation of power, anything anything that could be done is justified. There is no restriction. Machiavelli, Machiavelli popularized the idea of real politic. He popularized the idea of real politic. Now, what is the real politic? Real politic is politics that is carried on the basis of the real world consideration. Now, when we are in the real world, many unethical things, many immoral things are to be done to consolidate the power, and that is allowed, that is justifiable as per the idea of Machiavelli. So, ethics and politics have been divorced. Ethics and politics have been divorced. Is it clear? But guys, on another hand, we have the example of Gandhiji, and we have Gandhian view on politics. Now, Gandhiji provided this particular thing, that politics is not about consolidation of power, politics is not an opportunity, but politics is a great responsibility. And politicians need to ensure that this responsibility is to be carried in the manner of integrity and ethicality. Now, Gandhiji provided this particular thing, that end goal of politics is to serve the people, not politics itself. End goal of politics is to serve people and not the politics in itself. Gandhiji provided that politics end goal is Antyodaya, that is welfare and upliftment of the downtrodden. Sarvodaya, welfare and upliftment of all the people. And when we talk about Gandhiji in his theory of seven social sins, okay, so Gandhiji's theory of seven social sins. So here if you see, Gandhiji provided that politics without principle is a sin. Politics without principle is a sin. Politics without ideology, politics without moral and ethical principles is a sin and should not be carried. Also, Gandhiji provided that as a person gets power in politics, that power is to be seen as a crown studded with thorns, and it should be handled very carefully. So, politics and ethics can never be divorced, they can never be separated. Even when we talk about Aristotle, even we have example of Aristotle here. So basically, Aristotle in his Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle in his book Nicomachean Ethics provides that ethics and politics are strongly related. He provided that ethics examines the good of individual and politics examines the good of the state, and both are inalienable. Both cannot be separated. Then after that, guys, we have the Rosu's viewpoint. We have the viewpoint of Rosu. So Rosu says those people who treat politics and morality separately will never understand either of them. Neither they will understand politics nor they will understand ethics. Now, guys, as we talk about politics and ethics, what should be your viewpoint? Your viewpoint should be that it can never be detached, it can never be separated. Why it can never be detached and separated? Let's understand this particular thing. So basically, guys, you might have heard, and if you don't know, let me tell you, there is a social contract theory. Social contract theory. Now, Hobbes has done a lot of work in the direction of social contract theory. Even other philosophers have developed on social contract theory, but we give the credit to Hobbes as a pioneer. So, social contract theory provides this particular thing, that in a modern state, there is a binary of relation. In a modern state, on one hand we have state, and on other hand we have the citizens, and they have come together in a relationship, and the relationship is something like this, that citizen will surrender his absolute freedom. Citizen will surrender the absolute freedom. Citizen will pay allegiance to the state. Citizen will pay the allegiance to the state. Citizen will follow the laws that are imposed by state on the citizens, and in return, state will give the congenial conditions of living. State will give the congenial condition of living to citizens. State will provide welfare to citizens. Okay. Now, this is a promise that has been made by the state to the citizens. But you tell me one thing, that a state which is not ethical, state which is not moral, will that state be following the promise that it has made to give the congenial living? It is said that in law, contract is supreme, but in ethics, promise is supreme. So promise is supreme only for that person who is ethical. And if state is not ethical, if politics is not ethical, these promises will never be fulfilled. Moreover, when we talk about India, in India, we have the welfare oriented polity. And that welfare oriented polity can also not be possible without the politics and political ethics. Now, guys, in this particular capacity, so we find that politics and ethics cannot be divorced, they cannot be detached. Now, guys, UPSC has asked questions also in this particular line. And let me tell you the question that have been asked by the UPSC in this particular direction. Yes. So we have this particular question, which was asked in 2013. And the question reads, it is often said that politics and ethics do not go together. If political ethics or political morality or public ethics refers to the application of morality when it comes to decision making with respect to the political action for public good, what is your view in this regard? Justify your answer with illustration. What is your view in this regard? So question is talking about Machiavellian view. Fine, this is Machiavellian view that politics and ethics don't go together. What is your view? So you have to give this particular viewpoint that yes, often it is assumed or considered that politics and ethics don't go together. It is provided that politics is the game of power, politics is power play, but that thinking is based on to the Machiavellian view. However, in the modern systems, in the modern states where the state is driven for the welfare of the people, ethics have to be there. And then you can substitute it with the Gandhian view, Aristotle's view, Rousseau's view. Okay. Guys, in the present times, we have many examples where we find this particular thing, that ethics and politics are not going hand in hand. For example, as per the Association of Democratic Reform report, in present Lok Sabha, 43% of the MPs have criminal charges, and out of that, 29% have serious criminal charges. There are horse trading that is going on, where the legislators are changing the political loyalties for some money or for some ministerial berth. Okay, we find this particular thing that often MPs and MLAs, they are not able to rise above the political party lines. These shows the decline of political ethics, but it is not right when the welfarist democracy's functioning is concerned. So guys, this is all about it. I hope that you have understood it. So that is all from my side. I hope you have liked the video. If you want to see such more videos, please leave a comment. Thank you so much.